Dr. John Apea, head of missions, Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council, and also a board member, Commonwealth Human Rights Office Africa. Yeah, and they what petition His Excellency the President on Ura Atu Essien. Yeah, can say what try aban kukumu. Ya no one come train and pay. Doc, good morning.
Yenua.
Good morning. Your role, designations in the head of missions, Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council, and a board member, Commonwealth Human Rights Office Africa. What's your role? Would you make the
So for the purpose of petition where I may,
yes,
and fight where I may fight yama nipa me believe so ye innocent no.
Okay.
Hata me no the as a board member of the Commonwealth Human Rights Office for Africa.
Okay.
If he said me believe he said there's been an injustice. Me role no ye board member role, but reason I met na so no yeah because I believe in justice. I believe say if something doesn't add up you know, because for so long, no, a lot of the times, you nyema yempa ya yedin, but say two near na say two are down for, and now you want someone like me to come and advocate for you. Now advocate where I may, and yeah, for particular person say atu Essien, or yeah high big shot and now say, or yeah successful businessman. As we speak, say atu Essien is like any ordinary prisoner. And ya deal with Sikibia or they hide the best defense team, you know, or your ordinary prisoner just like everybody else. So we know we're fighting for everybody. We're fighting for every prisoner who has been wronged. We're fighting for justice to work. And now we are asking for sympathy as well from His Excellency the President. We say Atu Essien is in very bad health, you know, but before we ask for sympathy, you know, na me pese Ghana for hundiame mehuno. If you say first, no, not like the rest of Ghanaians, me dream say Atu Essien sika. My judgment as a typical Ghanaian, a lot of the time, we don't bother to go to the source of the facts. And no part sorry, but through forgiveness and opening our mind up to see another person's point of view there, we share social media so Kofu did many cases my temper or didn't attempt more. Make a chance say no, anointing a dozen chamber. You didn't attempt more, but there was no theft that actually happened.
Okay, we'll be getting into the details, but Atu Essien, any form of relationship,
until me who the evidence no amene kasaya no. Na me share no da. Na me share no da. Time Atu Essien osi so now or ye Capital Bank ni man. Na me wo UK. Nti na me no ni any interaction me who no in terms of ebia internet so ana me who no news so na bibia na say matini din founder of Capital Bank. I mean, say Obiasio guy we founded Capital Bank, we founded insurance company, Unimadiepa or a sharp guy or a brilliant guy. That is where it ended. That is where it ended. And I mean, me who are to Essien, na me dream say or you guilty. Because all the narratives are me who were news so any newspaper muno. Now it shows say now we are Bank of Ghana sika, we are taxpayers sika,
depositors or musika,
depositors sika, Bank of Ghana sika, sika be to me a building roads, a building hospitals ni nema. Na me dream say we are. Inti me so na first me boy for say oh, kofo ya na muri area and kofo sika sa nation building no. I na muri area and kofo sika. That was my initial. Until me who evidence no. If say a lot of people say I don't know fighting for Atu Essien. Me say Atu Essien first time I me who evidence. Me na me wo me lemu. I'm not thinking about anybody else. My role with the board of the Human Rights Office no. Na ya dia am me de board no. But in all honesty, na man ti ejuma na say as I am understanding now.
Okay. So you can say Atu Essien na poor modern health and yet that good as we speak. Where's Shiano currently? Have you met him?
Because Koshiano. No, wheelchair mu. But there's a difference between even physical illness and the emotional toll. it looks like a broken man. You know, and as anyone, I don't know. And then America say, sympathy was but empathy is who.
You had a conversation with him.
Full conversation.
And some men in I mean regarding his current situation, health wise,
or say is bad. Every single day or struggle or to wheelchair moon to me nante. Every day or say every day is a blessing to him. And that shows the type of person or yeah. Instead of saying every day is a pain to me, no, or say every day is a blessing. I
know he's a staunch Christian. I mean, the last interview I met some time ago, or Botongs near Adien, ni believe in God. I confirm some way, somehow. I would say every day is a blessing for him.
Oh no, ni believe. If anything, ni believe I call up. Won't say, bro. At different times in life, no. We go through different trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
And sometimes, as Christians, no, sometimes focus on your and our particular things, no. Sometimes we might lose our way. Inti me who say this is an opportunity to offer to get closer to God and to realize say reasi we are no obiamboa eradin kwa ne betumi aboa. Mboa me de man sesi an enye me ho de. Erade I believe, and now all pushing me say, Mimboa Minia, me a brother in need. Because we're our brother's keepers. Now, I may catch a journalist for say, and there are to Essien as a businessman. But Ochna, it can be a journalist who's wrongly accused. And I could even be a pastor who's wrongly accused. And say we go back to the facts. And the facts are say, Atu Essien did not steal any money. When we are
okay, no. We understand. Say he's in a wheelchair. What are the health issues? Torturing Mr. Atu Essien, and then the panel.
Without getting into too much detail, or have an accident in the prison, and his back gave in, and yeah, accident was due to. Be an idea with prison and I say prison officers and so and I like to get rid of that thought. He had a back problem.
Okay.
Whilst he was in prison. And I saw back problem near very, very, very bad. Many in for inmates ni be wa ye kasa ye o catch me day na see you know. Omoko ball football na no mobile back. And na utie mu keke. Na ni chi utie mu na he fell to the ground. And he said no Omupejano echo ward or hospital. Intenya dia will be any BB unless I don't know that fact. But from Adia and Kofaka chairman, that's what happened. And it's very, 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 very bad. Yeah. Untumi nante Oshe brace 24 hours.
Wow.
If say ni chin e yane yapa. And then ya dia mina meka na so no kan. Doctors never hono corroborate say he's actually a person, he's on pain medication. He's on pain. He's in a very, 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 very bad state. That's even the physical. But emotionally, we said this is a person who has been broken, who has been tried and who has been tested. And the worst part is being trialed and tested for dear, in my opinion, on if you say we share evidence now, no theft took place. A Bank of Ghana liquidity support now they be a more cano liquidity support. Me first me tell liquidity support no. Let me just say free money. Me just say free money from Bank of Ghana to non omo bank no. Sana liquidity support no na ye loan. Commercial loan at 28%. No mutua 40 million Ghana cedis every month.
Every month, yes.
And I no mun defaulted that. By the time our bank return, no more 308 million cedis back. Into a commercial loan at 28%, fully collateralized. You know, but me focus no, atu Essien. Me focus no cry enye bank no. Bank na sem no, and no government affair. And the government of today will deal with it as it sees fit. But
okay.
Yes. But me main focus ni say. Not a loan. The reason why it's important to specify say liquidity support and free money na a loan is because the reason Atu Essien was charged was for receiving a commission by arranging that loan. by arranging that loan, no, offer BBA your friend finder's fee. And now you sending money with Momo, your friend agent's fee and our commission fee.
Yeah.
Offer commission fee. Now the commission fee, no, yeah, about 3 or 4% of the amount. Now amount about 27.5 million Ghana cedis. And nothing na to Essien woje omusisi. But what is baffling me, who evidence no, they are not minty as and say accused person number 3 with Atu Essien no, MD no.
Yes.
Now he was acquitted for making that payment of 27.5 million in court because commission or agent fee no a legal transaction. We bibi mo bia wutumi gi agent fees like make at say momo.
Yes.
Into the agent fee of 27.5 million Ghana cedis no, the MD was acquitted for paying that amount, but Atu Essien was charged for receiving the amount. How does that make sense? Yeah, yeah, mathematics. You catch us say whatever happens on the left has to happen on the right. The equation has to balance. Equation doesn't balance. Nipo tu esikano we catch and say the awye any the from so be any so. Inti have acquitted you from court. But nipa no G sikano. Catch nipa ne say okay. The two I know the onye from so, but the G sikano the why from so.
No, but have you sought to find out from Atono Ankasa aside the evidence, you know, what actually happened in between the payer and the receiver near Echo? So have you sought to find out from
I found out because a very clear in any business transaction, because I'm not coming from the point of view of just a human rights activist meeting board. So, me to be a business person. I understand this type of negotiations. Wunya commission and now finder's fee and now facilitators fee now. It's simple. Wuni nipa no contract say me ye adie ima wa na me boa na utumi nya loan way and na say utumi close it deal way. This is what I get out of it. You know, a standard practice. Some people even earn hundreds of millions of dollars from transaction fees or agent fees or facilitators fee. Inti there is no hidden agenda in this. The payer was acquitted in court, but the receiver was jailed. And what can say, okay, Atu Essien, Sikano fire krano. Nah, it was not right. If you a dose too much, and as a name says or G finder's fee, by time of court prison, we 2 Sikane back, plus an extra 16 million. By time of coin, we 43 million Ghana cedis back.
No, but he was given an opportunity to pay these monies in installment, which, according to the court, he defaulted.
Well, the money he was meant to pay back, no? Do you know what makes up that money? 90 million now who internet so
yeah, 90 million no.
Not 90 million no, yeah, 27.5 million cedis now or G as legal finder's fee, no. Almost the 300% interest count to make 62.5 million cedis. Add 27.5 to 62.5 million cedis. That is what makes the 90 million. Inti who can say atu 8 you are back sika up to 90 million no. And I say we are 90 million. 62.5 million out of that 90 million was interest. Interest at 300%. Who puts interest of 300%? On finder's fee. A legal fee will be a general. So see nipa na yem from so crap.
Yes.
Nipa ninja 27.5 million ne back. We say why yem from so. To start off with, any from so. Anyone in business, anyone why your business that, anyone was sending sika through Momo that, we pay finder's fee or agent's fee or commission. And yeah, dear Ghana penny, it's all over the world.
So are you saying, sir, in the first place, he shouldn't have agreed installment payment because once he agreed and default, then it means
100%.
Yes.
Mistake are 2 years.
Yes.
And I'm sure on one case who say oh yeah mistake no. The fact say or yeah plea bargain or start proceedings no our court. No say I am not guilty. I have earned a finder's fee legally. Me MD of the bank. Me management of the bank. And come a part of management and I say me MD. But me I can say there's a conflict of interest. I'm neither of these two. My organizer ama banker me found it to me in your loan. Oh, in UK omoye ejuma won not for profit sector. Not for profit, but omo aketua 3 or 4 times that of the British Prime Minister. And it's not about the amount, it's about the principle. Nipa way wayen fum so sika no oje no enya amount no. Oje 1 cedi o 10 cedi o 100 cedis o 100 million no. Enya about the amount. Enya about the principle behind it. Did he break any laws? And the answer is a resounding no. When breaking any laws. Nti eno na me hu evidence. Me said no. This is not right. This is injustice right there. How does someone do a legal transaction and be jailed for that legal transaction? And all you see on the internet here, at Essien we are 90 million. When we are 90 million, you go for Kwasi or Bank of Ghana, Ecofa, Ghana must go back. And on 90 million, you go moon. Some 90 million are fictitious. It does not exist. If you are saying, say, or Jessica illegally cry, 27.5 million is what you should be charging him for. Adom to 90 million, 62.5 million cedis interest. And dia na em say no mpese okumu keke. And na plea bargain no fire no. And no ni mistake no yeah. Na ni lawyers in person obefa plea bargain no. But ye ni into your fire. Me, I was not in Atuesien's head. I was not there. Minima dia and Crawford catcher no. And I say promise no. And I say, when you are angry or you are hungry or you are scared or you are depressed, you can take decisions that come back and haunt you. And that is the biggest mistake.
Because now he has an outstanding sum of 53 million Ghana cedis to pay.
And that is all interest.
Interest.
Interest. Out of the 90 million, no, Mekacho says 62.5 million cedis, yeah, interest. So what type of restitution are we talking about? 300%. 300%. By time Okomuno, we tier 27.5 million, no, I say tier 16 million. For a legal transaction, no, it's a legal transaction. But let's say, okay, atu, the way, no, not any legal transaction. Tier sikane back. We tier back. Plus interest. What do you mean? Because a difference between exchange rate at that time, no, it doesn't amount to 62.5 million Ghana cedis.
So why won't you maybe to raise the balance of payment rather than maybe petitioning the president, say, yeah, man, presidential pardon? Doc.
But why raise the balance to pay for something that there's been an error with? I had to say we sit down and a foundation no enye. And now we painted dino and now in toy no roof no shaky. And instead of going back to fix the foundation, you are saying say, oh, roof is shaking no. Yemfa pillars being chalky roof no. The problem is not the roof. The problem is the foundation. And the case is built on the foundation. And the foundation is flawed. There's an error in the foundation. So you're dealing with it. We're dealing with it on both counts of sympathy in terms of nipa ne bread, ne health condition, lawyers, doctors akase nipa yi bread, doctors assigning say this person should be released on health grounds. That's the sympathy part. But the empathy part says it goes deeper than that. How many other atus are in the system? Social media, so yeah, no, me first time post bar out was say there's so many other people who are there. Why is it Atu that we're choosing his case? And fine, a lot of people are angry. A lot of depositors lost their money.
Yes.
But the depositors are pointing at the wrong person. They are pointing at the wrong person.
Maybe based on the court ruling,
based on the court ruling, which was a plea bargain, which, if you look back, was definitely a mistake he made.
No, but you are saying that you don't know why Ato opted for the plea bargain. To some extent, will you say the lawyers are not buano and Ato no and now making the mind up? Say this is the way I want to go.
Yes, and then America say you never know the voices speaking to a person, because na minim say Atu catch me say apologize to my lawyers for me. Those are the words of Atu.
Say pani lawyers in
say apologize to my lawyers for me.
Why?
Because they told him not to take the plea bargain. They told him not to take a plea bargain because evidence are not motesono. There was no way. But he promises a be a man. Me na me ni ho. Me the messia from this whole thing in say Bibia mekano, I base it on facts. I base it on evidence. Se me ni ho a me nkase na me wo ho. Ana me nkase meti ase. I base it on facts. And the facts are clear. And the facts are say anybody who finds themselves in this same position, me say, you know, on my role with the Human Rights Office, no, I will try as much as possible to defend them.
Okay, so let me find out what about Human Rights Office, you know, what is your institutional interest here? Are you petitioning as an individual on behalf of the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council or another body entirely? Doc.
I'm petitioning as a citizen of Ghana, as a citizen of the Commonwealth. But the roles in which I hold, because every baby Amekono is mentioned, the roles I hold might show when my passion comes from. My passion comes from the fact that I'm on the board of the Human Rights Office. If I didn't have passion for it, I'll not be on that board. My passion comes from the fact that I'm the head of mission for the Enterprise and Investment Council. I care about business people. I care about the private sector energizing the economy. I care about private sector companies being successful to employ Ghanaians, to provide employment, to pay their taxes. So that is who I am. I cannot shake that off. But this petition, this fight, is me as an individual, John Apea, a citizen of Ghana, who has seen these things and believes that there's been an error. It's flawed. That is where I'm coming from.
Okay, but only ora atu Essien Asia, you know. Is he remorseful? What Jenin from so atum has he taken responsibility for his actions?
What he has told me said he apologized for was taking the plea bargain. But in terms of the facts of the case, in terms of wrongdoing, I mean, how do you accept wrongdoing when the facts are so glaring? The reason I'm involved is because the facts are so clear. Papa ni nwe sikebia eye loan no arrange waje ne commission ni agent fees free mu and na waba say ye jeli because waje agent commission from so be no aye onye from so bia.
Okay, but a bin so adwene ye almost said sa pardon ya udi akire ya eno ti atwetwe nkomo it could send a wrong signal. Say we white collar job now you born there with some form of influence, you know. You betimi do born acha no afa ho adi. How do you respond to that?
Influence ben Atu is here. Atu is an ordinary prisoner like everybody else. Or influencer and can jail. Or influencer and can behind the bars. Or influence and can near my ye freely every day, no. Who call into one prisoner? Who say this is no one here has influence anymore?
You don't call it an influence?
No. I call it facts. Coming out with the facts.
Okay.
Having the opportunity to share. Because Senkofoka say, oh, this is going to send a wrong signal. How does it send a wrong signal when you are telling the truth? If anything, it sends the right signal that people are willing to fight for others when there's facts and there's evidence. It sends the right signal that tomorrow I can defend you, bro. Just as I will want you to defend me for any particular wrongdoing. Let the facts be clear for everyone and transparent. Into me, my petition or me calling for this, I'm not asking anyone to make up their mind. There's people who are diehard or mumpa to ask them. That is your prerogative. Mine is just to share information. Me just information person coming and having a discussion with you to say these are the facts. Now make up your mind on these facts if they sit with you. But when you're making up your mind, imagine it was you. Imagine it was your brother. Imagine it was your father. Imagine it was your friend. Come with those clear facts. And if I'm wrong, put me right. Me comment section, no. Me kind comment section every night because I want to find out if there's something I'm missing. Is there a blind spot I'm missing? Because if I'm missing it, I would like to know, and I'd like to go back to someone.
But you feel you are privy to every bit of information regarding this issue.
I have asked every question. every comment that has come, about 70 or 80% that I've seen, the questions that have been raised there, I've gone back and I've asked and I've said, this doesn't make sense. Can you explain this more to me? Can you explain more?
What besides something na?
Besides something na. But I don't have the entire 360. What I have, I'm sharing for people to be inquisitive enough to go and start looking at the case themselves, just like I did. Every information I may want to, public information, by the way. And your information is hidden. No, it's public information. We all have the right to information. You can get it. It's all public records. And when you read the public records, it does not make sense. How does a payer get acquitted and the recipient get jailed? That, to start off with, no, that equation does not balance. And people need to be able to go and understand that, okay, first of all, that does not sit well with me. Equation in balance. Second, liquidity support, no, and your free money, and your loan. Into say your loaner, he's entitled to get a commission or an agent's fee for it. And that is what he got. Until you then we'll say the fee is illegal. And apart from the fee being illegal, with the 300% interest account, 62.5 million. Interest no does to change principal, no. What kind of stuff is that?
Okay, but you admit, sir, a human as Atu Essien, and of course every other human being is no. There are people who may hate Atu, but for what reason? Ain't it obe pushi Atu, and then Atu sa assembly with all the evidence
in all honesty, I don't understand. Mintiasie. Ebia opinion or personal vendetta. I'm not privy to that conversation. Sometimes a lot of the time, ignorance and lack of knowledge or facts about an issue, I think it's about 80% of the problem. The problem a lot of the time, and yes, say opinion or personal vendetta, and I say nipa eluzi nisika mi wo nipa bia or contact me. No o save with Capital Bank. Or save with Capital Bank. And or contact me catch and said this is the first time they've actually understood this explanation. That is someone who's willing to open up. You know, I had to say a crime has been convicted, a crime has been committed, and then you found out say nipa na yedi atono sono ebia nipa no ekum wa downfall and na say wunebi, and then you find out say nipa na ye jailing or you're wrong person. What will you do? Will you be happy that the wrong person is behind bars? Or you be happy the fact that someone has just been caught? I don't care if it is the person who committed the crime. I'm just happy that someone is behind bars to pay for the death of my friend or something of that sort. No, you are saying that I want to find out who the real culprit is. Because if I don't find out, this thing can happen to me or can happen to someone else. And if I'm able to get justice for my friend, then that is real justice, not just that there's a human being behind bars.
But let's look at precedents. What precedent would Sir Padini set for future financial crimes? And are we ready to even absorb it?
They say that the proof is in the pudding. Everything is based on the evidence. If there was no evidence in the case of Atu Essien, and all we were going was on held grounds, on sympathy grounds, then there can be a 50-50 case, say, oh, this is not setting a good precedent. But when the evidence is so glaring, and that's why I've been going around trying to share the evidence, for the fourth estate to pick it up and say something does not sit right here. When the evidence is so glaring and it's so obvious that something does not balance, put the numbers together, something does not balance, then it's not setting a bad precedent. If anything, like I said, it's actually setting a good precedent. That we can go back and look at particular cases and say that this does not add up. If that wasn't the case, why are organizations like the Common Human Rights Office there? Why are places like Amnesty International? You know, why do you have organizations like Amnesty International, Oxfam, Commonwealth Human Rights Office, United Nations Human Rights Office?
Yes.
Why do you have those organizations if there's never been a mistake that we have to revisit? If everything we do is always perfect and as soon as we pass judgment, it is done, how come these organizations exist?
Okay.
Because there's always flaws in the system. Eradicra we wamba back in who say mistakes be mistakes be with Adam and Eve Niyama. We always have to revisit things to see if we are doing a good job, re-evaluating ourselves, re-monitoring particular cases that have occurred to see if we've done the right thing.
Okay, but let me find out. Anamoa Wutwe, the organization you represent, officially, what almost supportive?
Oh, almost supportive. Yeah.
Almost supportive.
Say, the Commonwealth movement and our initiative, okay. This is not a Commonwealth-led initiative.
Okay.
It is an initiative led by me, who represents these organizations. And the reason I represent these organizations is because I believe in the ideals of the Commonwealth. One of the tenets of the Commonwealth is on human rights and justice. So anyone who would disagree with me taking this stand does not realize the ideals or the tenets of the Commonwealth. They are tenets that protect myself and protect you.
But then one of the commitments of your organization is ethical investment and corporate governance. How do you align that with the Anamoa Wutu CCA?
If this was led by that organization, the business organization
yes.
I represent, then it will be a different case. What I'm doing is led on human rights, of which I'm a board member of the Human Rights Office. So I am allowed to be able to take a stand, even as a citizen of Ghana, as a citizen of the Commonwealth. I'm allowed to take an individual stand. All opinions are mine. It's not opinion of the Commonwealth Office. Whether the Secretariat or the Enterprise Investment Council or the Human Rights is not something that is a movement that they have begun. But all those organizations, what they have in common is that they support human rights, respect for the law, and dignity. Respect for the law is extremely important, because being ethical and respecting the law and respecting governance is as important as human rights. And I'm basing what I am doing on evidence before me that I'm sharing. Transparent evidence. It's not hidden evidence. 100%.
Okay.
This is the first time I'm in BBC. Until about 10 days ago that I came up to speak about this. Because a idea evidence around February or March. And it has troubled me. It has troubled me. And a lot of people I knew or who knew I wanted to take this stand, some very respectable people in Ghana told me that, John, don't go there. Don't open yourself up to the insults and all those kind of things, But there's a reason why I sit on the board of the Human Rights Office, for instance. There's a reason why I respect the Commonwealth and the work of the Commonwealth, because it's a defender. The Dinankasa Commonwealth, there's a wealth we have in common, and it's not just about money. It's about dignity and human rights and justice. And that is why I'm here.
Okay, but what take it time and customers are almost the depositors when only be at train and come on and then catch
many train come on, but back one na minim na okache me say or used to bank with Capital Bank. No?
Yes.
Or no na okache me say, in fact, na on the entirety of the case say na on tiase no or dream say atuna with your musika. It was very rewarding to me. This was about 2 or 3 days when I started the campaign, and the message came, and this is a person na minim so or bank with Capital Bank. Me na minye Capital Bank customer, for instance, but sani pano eno or buy a catcher me say or a Capital Bank customer, and he's happy that now the information is out there. If he said now on also dream say Essien you're guilty from beginning. But if there is a group of former customers, I will really love to be able to meet them, to be able to hear their concerns and actually share my findings with them.
Are you by this extending an invitation? Oh, Tonsa from Sebibisa or what?
100%. 100%. Because me person metro mu dia me na say almost say sometimes me call different places and me say nipa way that obey Barnabas. Usually the people who fight you the most can be your biggest saviors, because sometimes they tell you things that are missing. And when you are able to explain to them, they become the biggest. Paul Ambantem say or no, throw more books than even the disciples who were with Jesus.
Yes.
More books in the New Testament are written than Paul. And who persecuted the Christians more than Paul? So for me, when people are against something that is happening or against what I'm doing, I see it as an opportunity and a privilege to be able to share the facts with them. If they are able to convince me that what I'm doing is wrong because they have this or that information, I'll be very happy for them to share that with me. I'll be very happy because I'm open and I'm coming at this from a clean heart, a clean point of view, empathizing with Essien and also having sympathy for this father, for this brother, you know, of ours.
Okay, but obviously maybe I say we bit me maybe a wider effort first of a whitewash failed financial sector actors. Yeah, anti jail CEOs being so a bit me expect similar move. I mean presidential pardon there. Is that the way we are going?
No, the way we are going is in September may set up a portal. An open justice portal. Lawyers be make our way with radio so no. A lot of men down for more lawyers in Crawford no men down for say they will support pro bono with their expertise. Say other people, whether they are people in the financial sector like Essien or Nipa or Ojai Anenye Ampa, you know, whoever it is who believes they have a case. Ye who evidence now. And the evidence shows say there are some flaws in the foundation of the case now. We'll pick it up for free, pro bono.
Okay.
So this is what it raises. The silver lining is that we are able to help other people.
So now you have a team of legal brains.
100%.
When you are more
September, Mebaha to outdoor this portal. That will start off in Ghana, but I hope it will be Africa-wide.
Because I was just thinking to myself, say, Obia we are brodier or dancing Obia we are 50 Ghana cedis or dancing. Now we are talking about 90 million Ghana cedis. No, be a petition president for presidential pardon. What happens to those who are rotting in jail for trivial offenses?
The proof is in the pudding. That means, say, enye obia case nyebe pija a fight. It is based on the evidence. Obi real jaya na odajela na yechinu was CCTV so. And I said the evidence was there, say real jaya. We are not going to be able to fight for the person to be released on a presidential pardon or anything of that sort. The only thing we can fight for, say, Bia, Nipa no Uriel Jaino, Yemani 25 years. And you are thinking, was this crime really worth 25 years for stealing a goat and destroying someone's livelihood? The person has a family to go back to or has friends. And maybe they were hungry, they stole a fowl, they stole a goat, and they're getting 25 years. Those are the type of things that we might be able to fight for their term to be reduced if there is no evidence that they didn't do the crime. But if it comes out from the evidence that at the time the crime even happened, Nipa no ni Accra, now see we real giant Accra, those type of things we can fight. So fighting these cases doesn't mean say we are blanket fighting obia we BB you bet to me you when your pardon amount. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that when the evidence is strong and the evidence is tight, we will help that person to be acquitted. You know, if the evidence is weak, then what we might look at and say, Yaman Nipano 50 years for stealing a goat. You're saying, say, that is disproportionate to the crime. That's the only thing you can do in that perspective. But on Essien's case and other cases is based on the evidence of there being a flaw in the system, there being an error in judgment, there being an error in the foundation of the case, that we are asking that, can this, me, lawyer? So all I'm asking for is, this is the evidence. Let the court of public opinion look at this evidence and decide and tell me, let's come together and say, this does not sit well with us. That is the only thing I'm interested in.
But Dr. Apea, do you really believe, sir, presidential pardoning, a bit me a repair, sir, trust na a break in the banking sector? And now, so maybe some way, somehow, it will further damage it, sir, presidential pardoning. What do you think?
it will not repair the trust that we have.
Then it will further damage it,
No,
you think?
it would not, but it will be the first step in repairing it. You know, me, I don't believe say BBI in this world, you're black and white. BBI in your binary say a 0 or 1 or black and white. Just because it doesn't repair it 100% instantly doesn't mean it will also destroy it. I believe that reparations happen in stages or phases, and this is the first one. The first stage is to hold the right people, if they are right people, accountable for what happened. And doing that doesn't mean that you just pick someone and say this is the person who did the crime. I'm asking for there to be a measured approach, a transparent approach, to open it up and say, this is the facts. This does not sit well. Because like I'm saying, and there be a business person, or be a journalist, or be a member of parliament, and as a minister. But for me, no, and where I stand, no, and yeah, about politics. We are NDC ni, CPP ni, MPP ni, PPP ni, and I say we are independent. Now me who evidence no, and the evidence is stronger. I'll come to someone like you and say this is the evidence. This doesn't sit right.
All right. So formally, what petition president, right?
Debbie. Next week now petition the Beko president.
Oh, next week.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
This week and last week, yeah, just to share the information, just to share the facts. Not for people to listen to me and think everything I'm saying is true. The public information is there. Go and look at the public information, because we Google at Essien, the first thing that comes is 90 million theft from Bank of Ghana. And I'm standing on that to start off with, to say, if that narrative is wrong, what else is wrong in the narrative we are seeing? So I'm asking for Ghanaians to go and actually study the facts. Ghanaians are an educated bunch who like to read a lot and be on radio shows and understand issues. Let them go and understand the issues. And that's what I want to do for this first 2 weeks, to bring the information to the public. And then we'll submit the actual petition.
Okay, but my final question, based on how Essien is being treated, would you want to take opportunity to advise heads of financial institutions as to how to deal with some of these things, even as they are in office? Because what Atu is facing now could befall Apea. Would you want to advise heads of financial institutions?
I'm a head of a financial institution.
Okay.
In private business. So that's why I talk about empathy and sympathy, because governance is important. And it's important we all do the right thing. And I say, share, find so to the you know, it's a call, a wake-up call to all of us to recognize that our responsibilities goes beyond ourselves. You know, they go to the public, you know, because being part of a financial institution means that you have to adhere to some strict rules that you have to follow. Because if you don't, a lot of depositors have probably died from losing money or not having enough money for healthcare, etc. I know how it's like to be in that position. You know, I know how it's like to be broke, not to have anything, not to have enough money to even pay your hospital bills or your kids' school fees. So I know that feeling. So I know what a lot of people have gone through. And we have to ensure that people are not taken advantage of. But my whole thing with Essien is that I'm basing it on the evidence before me, the evidence that I've seen. This is someone I did not have a previous professional relationship with in any way, or even a personal relationship with. But I'm looking at the evidence and something doesn't sit right.
Right. Yamfa and Komono in Sidok. In fact, I'm most grateful for your time. And personally, I've learned a lot, and I've really get to understand some of the issues. Many thanks. We wish you all the best in this your attempt to petition the president in the coming days. Who petition you as well? and
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, that's it, Papa. Dr. John Apea, head of missions, Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council, and a board member, Commonwealth Human Rights Office Africa. And you know, and Komono. Okay.